Hi guys, this is going to be a super impromptu vlog. For those who are curious, I'm starting this on the 11th of May. I unexpectedly had to go on school camp this past week from Wednesday to Friday, and I got a call on Sunday night basically saying, hey look, one of the teachers is sick, can you come on camp? So I ended up going with one of the year levels that I don't teach on camp, and it was really fun, but it is absolutely exhausting. There was not a lot of sleep had on Wednesday night. Obviously everyone's super excited to go on camp, and thankfully Thursday night a little bit more sleep was had. We had a massive day though. Like, it was a full-on day. Everyone was up from like 6:30. Breakfast at 7, activities starting at 8:15 on Thursday, running all the way through the day. So by the time I got to the end of Thursday, everyone was well and truly ready for sleep. And then we were traveling back on the Friday, although we did have a really cool wildlife show on the Friday morning and got to see some really awesome Australian animals. Our animals do get a bit of a bad rap for being the most dangerous animals in the world, and honestly mostly they're dangerous because people are stupid. So if you leave wild animals alone, generally speaking, they will leave you alone. So it was a really good show, and I think collectively, particularly the staff, we walked away with some really good ideas for things we can take back to school, particularly to support our native wildlife. That was really fun, and it was a really good 3 days, and I had a great time, and I'm glad that I went, even though I'm not the biggest camp person. I can't complain because I had my own room, so I definitely won't complain about that. But I didn't feel up to setting up all of the cameras and stuff for a Books Beside My Bed video. I did read this week, but I've been reading one series. I've been reading the Kindle series by Claire Kent. So it is, because they're short and they've been easy to speed through, and it means that I can get a little bit more sleep. But of course I didn't read on camp because I was too tired. This weekend we are doing Mother's Day today, and I've also got the hockey tomorrow. I think I'm going by myself because I don't think my parents are able to go. So yeah, I figured I'd just do a little vlog because I actually realized I have enough pre-filmed content to actually have videos out for all of this week without the Books Beside My Bed video. But then if I use the third video this week, I will need an extra video for next week. So I figured we can just do a little impromptu vlog. I don't know what I'm going to read. I don't really know what you know I'm going to be able to film and things like that. My apartment is still a ginormous mess because my neurodivergent brain is not coping, and looking at it and going, oh, that looks messy and it really needs to be tidied, is not actually going to amount to anything at the moment because I just do not have the energy or the capacity to deal with it. So yeah, I am going to try and edit a couple of these videos to go up for next week, and hopefully catch up with some friends and then get changed and ready to go out for lunch for Mother's Day. I totally forgot to film while I was out at lunch, and we went to a really lovely nursery that has a gorgeous cafe there, and this was early Mother's Day lunch because tomorrow's Mother's Day, but I'm going to the hockey. Mum and Dad are not coming to the hockey because they've got to do stuff for their renovations, and we wanted Jess to have, you know, her first Mother's Day with her and her husband and her daughter. So early Mother's Day lunch with my family and Amir's family, and yeah, just really nice. Miller loves being outside. She loves plants. Oh my gosh, she loves plants. And she loves people watching. So this was perfect because it was packed and there were plants everywhere. So I won't put any pictures of her, but I will put some pictures of sort of the nursery, and it's got a beautiful little river that runs through it, and they had ducks, and it was really nice. Anyway, I'm home now. I have showered. I am dressed, ready for the hockey that starts in about 15 minutes, and I'm tired. But before I left, I did manage to edit a video. So I will have 3 videos that go up in the week between me not filming a Books Beside My Bed video. I'm hoping that I can edit another video in between the periods of the game. I've decided what my theme for this vlog is going to be. It's only taking me, I don't even know how long to work this out, but I am going to be reading arcs. I have 2 arcs. I have The Rest of Us. It's not called The Rest of Us, it's called The Story of Us. This is another one of those videos where I go, Steph, why were you filming when you were so tired? This never ends well. By Emma Mugglestone, which is the second book, follows on from, oh my gosh, the first book in the Wattle Junction series. I read it for my Australia romance vlog, and now I'm going to read this one because I got an early copy of it. I'm really excited to read it, and then I have the last of my NetGalley arcs. So if I can knock those 2 out this weekend, that would be excellent. So I'm randomly collecting Mustangs gear. I own so many hoodies and sweatshirts now. It's kind of ridiculous, but I'm me. This one is my favorite, but they only had it in a 2XL, so it is ridiculously large. Like there is this extra piece in the arm that is to make it 2XL, so I have to wear it rolled up. Like, it's ginormous, but it's super cozy. So yeah, it'll be funny if I ever wear this one to a game, because I'll have to wear it out in public and I look like it's swallowing me whole. I do have 2 others. Actually, I have 2 others that arrived this week. So there is this hoodie, which is one of the new ones for this season. Melbourne Mustangs. Can you tell I've got things to put away on this couch? That's the sweatshirt. I'll probably wear this one tomorrow, just because, I don't know. I'll wear one of them tomorrow. It's actually quite mild considering it's in autumn. Like, it was really cold the last couple of days, but today was super mild. And tomorrow is supposed to be the same, and it's not supposed to rain. So I have to dress appropriately for both inside the ice rink and traveling to and from, because I actually walk to and from the station and I get hot and I don't like carrying extra things, so I don't want to take a big bag. So anyway, that's enough rambling. I will probably update you in between the periods, and then I'll start the book after the game. So I totally did not update you guys in the first period break, because I forgot and I started editing a video, which I still haven't finished editing, so I'm doing that now. And we are currently, it's second period, and we are up 3-1, which is great. Team is doing really well. There's 1 new player in the lineup and then a new backup goalie, but Seb Woodlands is doing an awesome job. And yeah, I'm now going to be stressed for the entire third period, because we don't have a great track record in the third period at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna keep editing this video and then I'll update you at the end of the game. I can breathe easier. We won 7-2. 7-2, yes, 7-2, including an empty net goal. But yes, Adelaide did actually play really well. It was a really good game. Like, it was actually very stressful, and all of our goals came in that third period. Like, they were just awesome goals. Most of them came from Scott Timmins. It's what happened when you have ex-NHL players in your team. I've also just done my pre-sale online order for their cancer round, which is on the 26th of May. I told you I keep buying hoodies, so they're doing limited edition hoodies with a blue logo instead of an orange one. So where's our logo? That's our logo. So instead of all the orange, it's all blue. I'll have one of those, and it's going to be a white marl hoodie. Now it's time to read. Actually, I'm going to finish editing the video, then I'm going to read, and then I'll update you on the book. So I just read the entire book without stopping and updating you, because it was so good. I'm really enjoying this series. So it's the Wattle Junction series by Emma Mugglestone. It's set in Australia. It's a small Victorian country town west of Melbourne, so like local. And I mentioned this a lot in my Australian romance vlog from the other week. There's just something so comforting about Australian romances set in Australia, because it feels like home. It really does. And this series follows a group of brothers, and in this case we're following Nate, who is a former professional football player. He played, I think, AFL in Australia, but went overseas to play in the NFL, and got drafted and played and won a Super Bowl and retired early, and no one really knows the full story about why. He's back home now. He's now an author. He writes mystery suspense kind of stories, and he's in love with his best friend's sister, Eloise. And she is a social worker. She wants to be accredited for art therapy and to be able to implement that at the local charity, Kathleen's Place, which she works at. And the two have been dancing around each other for years. Now, Eloise's brother is getting married, so they're all involved in the wedding party, and it's this big ostentatious thing. It's sort of this subplot that's running in the background as just a foil for a lot of things. And eventually, like, circumstances and, you know, gossiping grandmothers sort of force the two of them together and to have a few moments, and they're both gone for each other, but Nate is quite reserved, and it has a lot to do with what happened over in the States, where he went over there when he was quite young, and he was far away from family and from friends and from a support network, and got caught up in the celebrity lifestyle that came along with being a professional athlete, and was really badly burnt by a long-term girlfriend that he was in love with, and he discovered that she was basically trying to entrap him and eventually cheated on him. And this is going to be a spoiler, and I'll pop a spoiler tag down here, but I think it's really important to talk about, actually, because it's a content warning, so I'll tell you what it is. Well, there's a big heavy subplot in here that deals with infertility. It's so important, I think, because regardless of who in the relationship is dealing with infertility issues, it's not talked about a lot or enough in books, and the impact that it has. But I think it's equally important for us to have stories about both men and women who are facing infertility issues, and in this case it's Nate, and the shame that he feels around that, and also that just the casual comments that people make in general society about, you know, getting together and getting married and having kids, and not realizing that someone might actually have issues with that. I mean, I know plenty of people in my life who have struggled with fertility, and it's hard. Like, you don't ever want to be the person that's making someone feel really self-conscious about something that is completely beyond their control. It's not something that they can control, and it's often really heartbreaking. A big part of this book is Nate processing that. Now, it's not a huge, like, it's a big part of the story, but it's not on page until sort of the third act of the book. Knowing that it was coming, I sort of could see where it was hinted at through the story. But yeah, it was really well done, and I think that both Eloise and Nate as characters balanced each other out, and I think Nate finally realizing that he does have a support network. His brothers and his best friend are actually there for him, and that being open and being able to have the conversation with them about that was a really powerful scene in the story. Likewise, I think when Nate then is able to talk to Eloise about it and to, you know, admit, you know, he didn't make the best choices and he could have gone about it in a completely different way, but there is an understanding there that it's something that is difficult for people to deal with, and it's not something that you can expect people to just come out and have a conversation about necessarily, because there is a lot going on involved in that, right? But anyway, for as heavy as some of those conversations got, it is a really gorgeous small town romance. And it, you know, brother's best friend and friends to lovers, there's a bit of a forced proximity element in there. There's definitely a very cute and adorable golden retriever called Echo, and just lots of little elements that make it feel like you are involved in this small town where everyone knows each other and is in each other's business. So I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It does come out at the end of this month on May 29th. I'm really hoping that I can pick up a copy of the book at a book signing I'm going to at the start of June. Emma Mugglestone's pre-orders had closed before I bought tickets to the event, because I was umming and ahhing about whether or not I was going to go. So fingers crossed. I'm hoping that I'll be able to pick up a copy over there, because I really enjoyed it. This series is going to be one that I keep up with because it's been really great so far. So on that note, I'm going to go to bed and I will check in with you guys tomorrow. I have forgotten what the other book that I'm reading is from NetGalley. Oh, it's Barely Even Friends by May Bennett. So that will be tomorrow's project when I go off to watch the hockey. Stay tuned. I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Good morning, happy Sunday. I slept in, so I desperately need to finish editing the video I started editing last night before I leave for the hockey. I want to leave a bit earlier today just so I don't have to rush, because again, I'm gonna have to walk places and I'd like to be able to breathe when I get there. Yeah, it is a nice day though. And this is tricky because when I walk there I get really hot, so I have to wear things that are appropriate for an ice rink. But also so I don't overheat on the way to and from. But anyway, I'm gonna just go with this because I can roll the sleeves up, and I have my sweatshirt today. And they've got some new beanies that I want to get. I think they've got a grey one which will match the sweatshirt. So I don't know if I'll take one of my orange and black ones or whether I'll just go and get myself a new one. The way I'm feeling, I just feel like buying myself something new. Also, I'll get my new player cards at this game because it's a home game. All right, I'm done. I'm gonna edit this video and eat some breakfast. So I'm getting ready to go. I've got to choose my bracelets, and this will be a fun game today actually, because we are playing the Canberra team, so CBR Brave, or Canberra Brave I think they're called now. And I like this because I get to see my favourite goalies in the league play, which is a really stupid thing. So Seb Woodlands, who is our Australian starting goalie. We don't have an import goalie at the moment, so he's our starter. He is playing, and Alex Tetro for the Canberra Brave is also playing. Well, hopefully he's playing. Alexei Toivonen is also on their team. I also like him. He played for Australia in the World's Championship. I get to see all my favourite goalies on there. But the reason I like Seb and Tetro are because last year they both did mic'd up videos for their team's social media, and they are hilarious. I'll try and leave them linked down below. But yeah, I just really enjoyed watching their videos. So it'll be nice to see them play. I think this is our championship rematch. So we played the CBR Brave and beat them in the final last year. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. All right, what else am I wearing? That one. A collection. Problem is, because I wear my Apple Watch, I have to wear my biggest ones on this wrist because I have to sit up further on my arm. So that means that one. I have my bracelets on. Now I've got to go and get ready for the rest of this.
Champion for the Mustangs and also 3 points away from 200 AIHL points. Today for the puck drop, ceremonial puck drop, can we please ask Sean to come forward and also Canberra Brave Captain Clayden-Lewis for today's puck drop.
Oops, I came home with another jersey, but it's a player's jersey. So I don't have one of those. Anyway, I got there and my plan was to get the player cards, which I did get. Hold on. I got the player cards. So there is Evan Krustalev and Mike Georgie, great players. It was the Mother's Day game, so I got the program and the grey beanie that says Melbourne Mustangs. And then while I was there, they said they've got jerseys. They haven't had jerseys for the last couple of weeks. And they're all player worn jerseys. And while I was looking at them, the lady's like, we've got other players out the back. Just, is there someone that you're looking for? I was going to get Mackenzie's jersey. He's our backup goalie. But the goalie cut jerseys are just way too big for me because they're all player worn, so they're the actual player size. But they had Flack's jersey, and I love Flack. He's so fun to watch play. So yes, now I have another jersey. This is why I should not be allowed to be a sports fan, because I cannot help myself. It's later now. I'm slightly less unhinged as I was when I walked in the door. Yes, you cannot trust me now because I just keep buying Mustangs gear. Anyway, I did do some reading while I was out today. So I should say we won. We beat the Brave. It was 4-3 in the end, and very tense in the third period. Anyway, I did read. I started Barely Even Friends by May Bennett, which was the last NetGalley arc I had, and it is a contemporary Beauty and the Beast retelling. Very heavy on the Beauty and the Beast retelling. I only got a couple of chapters in before I DNF'd it because it was just, to me, it felt like it was laying it on a little bit too much, and I get that some people will absolutely love that, but in a contemporary setting it was just slightly jarring. So essentially we have Bellamy, who is the heir to sort of a restoration family business. Her father is unwell, and so she's taking on her first project, and it's for this old sprawling mansion out of town. And so she turns up in the middle of a storm and she's admitted into the house, and then the person who lives there is obviously very, very cranky. Now, he's not a beast, he's just a grump and not very nice. And there is an artificial intelligence that is sort of like that housekeeping element of the story. There were things that I thought were kind of cool, but it was very, very much Beauty and the Beast. Like, it was almost beat for beat exactly what it was, but just in a contemporary setting, and it didn't quite work for me. I was really prepared to like it, and yeah, I couldn't get into it. So after that, I just decided to read a bunch of really short things. I tried a short story called Tiger Chair by Max Brooks, which I think was the short story that was for free through my Amazon Prime subscription. And it's kind of like it's a futuristic world where China has invaded the US. I started reading it and I was fully, like, it's 50 pages or something like that. I was fully intending to read it through to the end. I just didn't care. I think it was a soldier, I think it was a Chinese soldier reflecting on the fact that invading the US is harder than you would think, and fighting sort of the guerrilla warfare in Los Angeles, but I probably only got maybe 20 pages in. Then I read The Way We Are by, I think, Jordan Clayden-Lewis, who is a queer Australian author, and this was a story, and I believe it's kind of a sequel novella to a full-length novel about these two characters. So we have two men who are basically spending the weekend away in a secluded cabin. They're happily together, they've been together for a while. One of the men had previously been in a very abusive relationship and had obviously helped put that person in jail because he was then abusive again and nearly killed the partner that followed him. So he's still dealing with that, and while he's staying at the cabin, he begins to remember that former partner and hear his voice and whatever. And I mean, I'm just going to say what it is. What he eventually finds out is that his former partner has been killed in prison, and it's kind of that closure of that story arc. So I think I am planning on reading the main book about this couple that precedes this story. I didn't realize that it was a sequel to it when I got it on KU. But I think I am planning on reading that story in the next couple of months anyway, so that'll be interesting. I also read a college hockey romance. Again, another novella. I think it's only about 50 pages long, and I forgot to write down the names of the characters. The main male character is a goalie for his college hockey team, and at the start of the book he's beating himself up over letting in the goal that meant the other team won the last game, and so he's been pushing himself really hard. He is doing extra training by himself first thing in the morning before rushing back to school, and then going to training after school is finished, and then doing all of his assignments, and he's basically running himself into the ground. And he meets this young woman, literally bumps into her on the first day, and she is just the total sunshine to his grumpy self. And she works at one of the local cafes, and that's where they cross paths again. And they end up, you know, talking, keeps going there to make coffee, and then eventually one of his friends turns around and says, "You obviously like this girl, ask her out." And a big part of I mean, it's a novella, it's super short, like it's so short. They end up sleeping together, and the kind of point of the story is that their relationship is all happening in the wrong order because they sleep together first. But it's not a one-night stand, they do know each other, but before they get to really know each other and then sleep with each other, they sleep with each other and then get to know each other. That was a lot of words that all sounded the same. And then tonight I decided that I was going to read Citadel by Claire Kent, which is the 5th book in the Kindle series. And you've not heard me talk about this series yet because I haven't done a wrap-up for the previous 4 books. It's coming, I promise. And this one is, interestingly enough, a break from the first 4 books in the series, which are all interconnected because you have the same sort of characters. This takes place in a different part of the US. This world is a post-apocalyptic future where there has been an asteroid that has hit the Earth, and instead of creating an extinction level event, it basically just caused mass destruction and destroyed Europe, and then made the US inhospitable to life, and so people have had to try and find ways to survive. The series itself is a spin-off of Last Light, which is amazing. In this book, it's kind of setting up some new characters that we haven't met before, where the previous 4 books had a lot of characters who we see in all of the stories. And in this case we have Dell, who has survived along the coastline with her sister, and the coastline has been quite difficult to survive along because there were hurricanes and high tides and all of that sort of thing. And at the very start of the book, the refuge where they are staying is attacked, and so Dell and her sister end up escaping with the help of a mysterious guy called Cole, who just happened to be in the area, and he says that he'll help them find a safe place to stay. And they find Monument, which is a community that work together. And Cole and Dell have this connection, and pretty much everyone else around them can see it, but Del has spent a lot of her life being shielded by her older sister, who doesn't want her to be used by any man, essentially. And so there are a couple of time jumps in this book as they spend some time apart. They do eventually have sex, and then he leaves, and obviously she's very bitter about that because she doesn't see him again for 2 years, and there is an age gap. She is 20 when they first meet, and he is 33, 34 years old. But when her sister is taken by a group of very bad men, Cole and Del set out to get her back. And so it's how they rebuild trust in this forced proximity situation. Very dangerous, and I think this book would fall under the category of danger banging. I wouldn't say that it's a safe idea to have sex when they had sex, but they did, and anyway, well, that's fine. It's interesting because that term for me is epitomized by the book Whiteout by Adriana Anders, and I really need to reread that at some point. And it's been a while since I read a book where I could safely go, yeah, no, I don't think that's a great idea. So yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it's good to put another book in that category, and maybe one day I'll have enough for a recommendation list. So yes, that is the end of this vlog. I have to prepare some stuff because I am presenting a workshop tomorrow with my master train group, and then I want to rewatch today's game, or at least put it on in the background so I can listen to the commentary, because I'm kind of curious to see what the commentators say about today's game. I'm going to get all of that organized. Thanks for joining me on this very random, very random reading vlog and weekend vlog. In the comments, let me know if you've read any of these books or if you're planning on picking any of them up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.